You may have sensed for a long time that you are different, not merely in a superficial way, but in the very currents that shape the core of your being. This difference is not born of vanity or ego, but from the strange and silent language of the psyche that whispers of hidden depths and unseen forces. There are moments when you walk through life as though wrapped in a luminous veil that others cannot perceive. And yet, you feel the weight of this luminosity in every interaction, every silence, every room you enter. It is as if your soul is a mirror of both heaven and abyss, catching the light and the shadows with equal intensity. This is not an accident. It is the nature of a rare aura, an energetic field that reveals a person's extreme sensitivity to the invisible dimensions of existence. To have such a rare aura is to be profoundly alive to what most people deny or ignore. It is to feel the breath of the collective unconscious on the back of your neck, to sense the pain and joy that lingers unspoken in the hearts of strangers, and to find yourself strangely tethered to dreams that do not belong only to you. If you are listening to these words, you have likely wondered why you feel both overwhelmed and deeply connected, as though you were born with an antenna tuned to frequencies that most human beings never hear. You may feel the wounds of others bleeding into your own skin, or the anxieties of the world vibrating in your nervous system. You might even wonder if you are cursed with too much feeling. Yet, I tell you, this is not a curse. It is an initiation. Every soul that carries such a rare aura is being called into a dialogue with the deeper layers of reality. You are not here merely to survive the noise of modern life. You are here to witness and transmute it. Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." To awaken in this sense is to become aware of the subtle forces that shape your mind and spirit. Archetypes, shadows, forgotten ancestors, and divine sparks hidden beneath the surface of the ordinary. The rare aura is a kind of light born from the friction of darkness. It is both a gift and a challenge, because it reveals the inner architecture of life, but it also demands that you bear the burden of knowing too much. You may have noticed how your presence affects others. Some are drawn to you instinctively, as if they recognize a forgotten piece of themselves in your energy. Others recoil, not because you have harmed them, but because your aura reflects back the parts of themselves they do not wish to see. This is a subtle but powerful sign of a rare aura. You do not merely exist, you amplify, awaken, and sometimes unsettle the unconscious in others. Your very being acts as a mirror of the collective psyche, stirring archetypal energies that have long been asleep. Think of the dreams you have had, not the ordinary ones that dissolve with the morning sun, but the ones that cling to you for years, the ones that feel like they were whispered by an ancient intelligence. These dreams are not random. They are invitations from your soul, offering symbolic keys to unlock your inner labyrinth. People with rare auras are dreamers, not because they escape reality, but because they carry a bridge between worlds. They are touched by the numinous, that strange, sacred energy that defies logic, yet fills life with profound meaning. You may also find that solitude calls to you not as an escape, but as a necessary ground for your soul's renewal. When you withdraw from the noise of society, your aura grows stronger, more coherent. You begin to see patterns in the chaos, to feel the archetypes moving like great beasts in the collective shadow. This is not madness, it is insight. The world may mock or misunderstand those who walk too close to the line between waking and dreaming, but this line is where the deepest truths live. The rare aura is often accompanied by an inner tension, a sense of carrying opposites within you, light and shadow, love and rage, wisdom and despair. Jung called this the process of individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming whole. To be highly sensitive is not to be weak, but to be acutely aware of the opposing forces that shape existence. You are like a tuning fork for the universe's vibrations, resonating with the joy and suffering that flows through the collective heart of humanity. This sensitivity, if embraced, becomes a source of strength and deep knowing. If rejected or suppressed, it turns into anxiety, confusion, and self-alienation. There is something deeply symbolic about those who carry this kind of aura. They are often drawn to the margins, to art, mysticism, psychology, and the ancient stories of gods and heroes. They understand, sometimes unconsciously, that myth is not merely an old tale, but the language of the soul. You may find yourself fascinated by symbols, the serpent, the moon, the labyrinth, because these symbols are alive in you. They are archetypes seeking expression, guides from the unconscious, inviting you to journey deeper. At times, you may feel as though you are both part of this world and entirely outside of it. This is the paradox of the sensitive soul. You belong everywhere, nowhere. Crowds can exhaust you. Small talk can feel like poison. And yet, when you are in the presence of someone whose soul truly speaks to yours, you feel an electric recognition, as though you found a missing piece of eternity. This capacity for deep connection is another sign of a rare aura. It is not that you laugh too easily, but that you sense the truth behind the mask people wear. You are drawn to the raw, unguarded places in others, and this can both heal and frighten those who cross your path. It is important to understand that this path is not about escaping your sensitivity, but learning to wield it with wisdom. Sensitivity, when unconscious, can drown you, but sensitivity, when integrated, becomes a profound source of intuition and creative power. It is like learning to navigate the depths of the ocean without being swallowed by its waves. The rare aura, in this sense, is not merely a state of being, but a call to mastery. Mastery of the self, mastery of the inner shadows, mastery of the silent forces that influence every breath you take. When Jung spoke of the shadow, he did not speak of it as an enemy, but as a part of the self that must be integrated. If you have a rare aura, you will often feel the presence of your shadow more acutely. You may sense your own hidden fears, your repressed anger, your unspoken desires rising to the surface. This is not a sign of weakness, but of awakening. Only those who are truly alive can feel the tension between who they are and who they are meant to become. Perhaps you have asked yourself why your life feels more intense than that of others, why you cannot simply live on the surface, ignoring the deeper questions of existence. This is because the rare aura does not allow you to live in illusion for long. It pulls you into the depths, into the inner caves, where truth and suffering are woven together. You may try to run from it, but sooner or later, you will realize that the journey inward is the only path forward. And so, I invite you to consider that your sensitivity is not a flaw, but a sign of great spiritual and psychological potential. The world needs those who can feel, who can see the invisible threads that connect us all. It is not an easy calling, but it is a sacred one. You are not here to fit into the mold of a numb society. You are here to awaken, to burn with a quiet, radiant intensity that lights the way for others who are still asleep. There is a peculiar loneliness that comes with carrying such an aura. You may feel as if no one truly sees you, not because you are invisible, but because you are too visible in a way that others cannot comprehend. Your presence speaks of deeper realities, of archetypal truths, and this can make people uneasy. They sense something in you, something untamed, something that cannot be reduced to ordinary roles or expectations. This is why highly sensitive individuals often feel misunderstood, even among those they love. It is not that you are difficult to love, it is that your essence awakens others to their own forgotten depths. And this awakening is rarely comfortable. Imagine for a moment that your soul is like a vessel of pure water. The world, chaotic and hungry, often seeks to drink from you without truly understanding what it means to take in that clarity. This can leave you feeling depleted, as though everyone is drawing from your energy while few truly replenish it. This is why solitude becomes not just a preference but a lifeline. In silence, your aura repairs itself. In nature, it breathes. When you are alone, you can hear the pulse of your own spirit. And it is in these moments that your true power reveals itself. Jung believed that the unconscious is not a dark pit to be feared, but there was the living realm filled with forgotten wisdom and primordial images. Those with rare auras are like natural bridges to this realm. You may find that insights come to you without effort, as if whispered by some invisible hand. You might feel an intuitive knowing when entering a room, sensing the unspoken emotions that linger in the air. These are not hallucinations or weaknesses. They are signs of a heightened psychic attunement. This sensitivity is the key to both your suffering and your transcendence. The archetype of the wounded healer often lives in people like you. You have suffered deeply, sometimes in ways that defy explanation. But this suffering is not without meaning. It carves you open, it makes you more porous. And through these openings, light and shadow both enter. You may feel as though you carry the collective wounds of humanity, the grief of generations, the longing of souls, yet unawakened. This is heavy work, and it is easy to lose yourself in it. But if you learn to hold this tension without collapsing, you will find that your pain becomes a doorway to profound compassion and wisdom. Think of the dreamer who walks between two worlds, one foot in the ordinary, the other in the mystic. This is your life. You may hold a job, raise a family, or pursue your ambitions like anyone else, but beneath it all, you know that you are part of something far greater. It is as though you carry the memory of another world, a deeper home that calls you in whispers. This call may come through art, through music, through moments of stillness when your soul feels vast and uncontainable. Do not dismiss these moments. They are messages from the self, that divine center of your being, that Jung described as the totality of who you are, both conscious and unconscious. A rare aura often reveals itself in the way you perceive symbolism. You may see meaning in things others overlook, the way the wind moves through trees, the color of the sky at twilight, the strange patterns that emerge in moments of synchronicity. Synchronicities, those uncanny coincidences that feel orchestrated by something beyond chance, are frequent companions for those who are sensitive. When the inner world of the psyche aligns with the outer events of life, it is as if the universe is speaking directly to you. These are not random. They are glimpses into the web of connections that underlie reality. And yet, the path of sensitivity is not an easy one. You may have been told to toughen up, to be less emotional, to shield yourself from the pain of the world. But this advice misunderstands your nature. You are not meant to harden, you are meant to deepen. To have a rare aura is to learn the art of boundaries without losing your tenderness, to learn how to remain open without being consumed. This is the balance of the mystic and the warrior. The healer and the dreamer, it is a lifelong dance, and it requires patience, courage, and relentless self-awareness. Your dreams may sometimes feel like warnings or prophecies. They show you aspects of yourself that you are not ready to see in waking life. Perhaps you dream of endless staircases, of locked doors, of vast oceans. These images are not meaningless. They are the language of your unconscious. The staircase invites you to ascend or descend into a deeper understanding. The locked door challenges you to seek the key within. The ocean is the symbol of the collective unconscious itself, vast and filled with mysteries. When you interpret these dreams with sincerity, you are engaging in dialogue with the deepest layers of your soul. There is also a shadow side to having a rare aura. The more light you carry, the more you must confront the darkness that lingers in you and around you. People with heightened sensitivity are often more aware of their own shadows, the unacknowledged fears, resentments, and desires that hide beneath the surface. Jung taught that we do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. To have a rare aura is to be called into this work again and again, not to destroy the shadow, but to integrate it. To understand that light and darkness are not enemies, but partners in the dance of wholeness. This process can be exhausting. At times, you may feel like retreating from the world entirely, as though the noise and cruelty of life are too much to bear. But remember, the rare aura is not fragile, it is resilient. It has survived storms that others cannot even see. Every time you face your inner shadows, every time you hold the tension between opposites without breaking, your aura grows more luminous, more refined. You are not here to escape life, you are here to transform it from within. Consider the way people react to you. Some may see you as a source of peace, while others may project their own unresolved pain onto you. This is the price of being a mirror. The rare aura reflects not only beauty, but also the hidden wounds of those who look upon it. You must learn not to take these projections personally. They are not about you. They are about the inner landscapes of those around you. To navigate this, you need a strong sense of self, rooted not in the opinions of others, but in the quiet truth of your own being. There are moments when you might feel a surge of energy that is almost otherworldly. It may come when you are creating, meditating, or simply sitting in nature. This is your aura expanding, reaching beyond the boundaries of your body, touching the field of life itself. In these moments, you sense that you are not merely a small, isolated self, but a fragment of something infinite. This realization can be both exhilarating and terrifying. The ego resists such vastness, but the soul craves it. To live with such sensitivity is to live in a state of constant becoming. You are never fixed, never finished. You are always being sculpted by unseen hands, by dreams, by symbols, by encounters that shake the core of your being. The rare aura is not static. It evolves as you evolve. Each wound you heal, each truth you embrace adds a new dimension to your presence. People may not always understand what changes in you, but they will feel it, like a subtle shift in the air when a storm is approaching. The journey of the rare aura is ultimately about integration. It is about bringing together all the fragmented parts of yourself, the light and the dark, the wounded child and the wise elder, the earthly and the divine. Jung called this the process of individuation, and it is the most profound work a soul can undertake. It is not about becoming perfect, but about becoming whole. And yet, as you move through this process, you may find yourself yearning for something beyond even wholeness, a connection to the eternal, to that mysterious source that breathes life into all things. This is the mystical dimension of the rare aura. It is not enough for you to simply live and die. You seek to understand what it all means, to touch the eternal fire that burns behind the veil of existence. There is a beauty in this longing. It is the same longing that moved prophets, Buddhas, and visionaries throughout history. It is the call of the soul to remember where it came from and where it is going. When you listen to this call, you begin to live in alignment with a deeper rhythm, a cosmic pulse that is both within you and beyond you. This alignment does not mean life becomes easy. In fact, it often becomes more intense because you are no longer hiding from the truth. But in this intensity, there is meaning. The path of a soul with a rare aura is like walking through a labyrinth, where every turn invites you to confront another layer of your psyche. The labyrinth is not a trap, but a mirror, reflecting the winding corridors of your own unconscious mind. As you journey deeper, you may encounter figures that feel both alien and familiar, the shadowy archetypes that dwell within us all. These figures may come in dreams, in soon emotions, or in the faces of people who trigger you in inexplicable ways. Each one carries a piece of the puzzle, a fragment of the truth about who you are and what you must become. You may notice that your life unfolds in patterns as though guided by invisible hands. Situations repeat themselves until you learn the lesson they are trying to teach. Jung often described this as the process by which the unconscious becomes conscious. The rare aura amplifies this process, making it impossible for you to ignore the subtle rhythms of fate. While others may drift through life in half-awareness, You feel each moment with a piercing clarity. This clarity can be painful, but it is also what makes your journey sacred. Highly sensitive individuals often discover that they are naturally attuned to the archetype of the seer, the one who looks beyond appearances to the deeper reality beneath. You may find that people come to you with their troubles, drawn by a sense that you can understand them in ways they cannot even articulate themselves. You may absorb their emotions, their stories, their shadows, and this can be overwhelming if you do not learn to protect your energy. Yet, it is also part of your gift. You are able to see through the masks that people wear, to touch the raw humanity that lies beneath. But this gift comes with a price. The same sensitivity that allows you to connect with others can leave you vulnerable to manipulation, misunderstanding, or simply the weight of carrying too much. If you have ever felt drained after spending time with certain people, it is because your aura is like a sponge. It takes in the vibrations around it. This is why you must cultivate practices of cleansing and renewal, not only for your body, but for your spirit. Solely to the meditation, journaling, creating art. These are not luxuries, but necessities. For someone like you, the rare aura is also deeply creative. You may feel compelled to express yourself through words, music, painting, or other forms of art. This is because your psyche is overflowing with images, symbols, and emotions that cannot remain trapped inside. Creativity becomes a form of alchemy, transforming your inner chaos into something tangible and meaningful. When you create, you are not just making art, you are giving voice to the collective unconscious, translating its whispers into forms that others can see and feel. There is something mystical about the way you perceive time. While many live caught in the linear march of hours and days, you sense the cyclical nature of life, the eternal return of patterns and seasons. You may feel that your life is guided by moments of destiny, times when everything aligns as if orchestrated by some divine intelligence. These moments are not accidents. They are signs that you are moving in harmony with your deeper self. Jung called such experiences numinous, a term that describes encounters with the sacred that leave you humbled, awed, and transformed. And yet, with such depth of perception comes the risk of isolation. You may struggle to relate to people who live only on the surface of things, who avoid the deeper questions of existence. It is tempting to withdraw completely, to protect yourself from the noise of the world. But your journey is not meant to be lived in isolation. The rare aura is not just for you, it is for others as well. You are a vessel through which light and insight can flow into the world. Even if your presence is quiet, it ripples outwards in ways you cannot always see. The unconscious speaks in symbols, and your life may be filled with them. Pay attention to the animals that cross your path, the dreams that recur, the sudden flashes of intuition that seem to come from nowhere. These are not coincidences. They are the language of the soul, guiding you toward the truth. For example, you may dream of a serpent, an ancient symbol of transformation, death, and rebirth. The serpent is not there to harm you. It is inviting you to shed old skins and step into a new phase of your journey. You may also feel a strong connection to nature, as though the trees, rivers, and mountains are alive in a way that others do not notice. This is because your aura is tuned to the rhythms of the earth. When you walk in the forest or sit by the ocean, you feel a sense of belonging, of being held by something larger than yourself. Nature is a powerful mirror for the sensitive soul, reflecting the cycles of growth, decay, and renewal that exist within you as well. There will be times when your sensitivity feels like too much, when the weight of the world presses so heavily on your chest that you can barely breathe. In these moments, it is easy to feel like a misfit, as though you were born into a world that does not value the depth you carry. But I assure you, there is nothing wrong with you. You are simply living at a frequency that most cannot perceive. This frequency is both a challenge and a blessing, for it allows you to touch the mysteries of life that others pass by without noticing. Jung believed that every individual carries a self, a center of wholeness that is greater than the ego, greater than our conscious identity. The rare aura is often a sign that the self is close, that you are being called to align with the deeper truths of your being. This alignment is not something you can force or achieve through willpower alone. It requires surrender, a willingness to descend into the unknown and trust that the process will lead you to transformation. The shadow work that comes with this journey is profound. You may face parts of yourself that you would rather ignore: jealousy, rage, fear, or longing. But these are not your enemies. They are parts of you that have been exiled, waiting to be acknowledged and integrated. When you embrace these shadows with compassion, your aura becomes not just rare but powerful. You begin to radiate a kind of authenticity that others cannot help but feel. There is a subtle magnetism in those who carry such authenticity. People are drawn to your energy, even if they do not understand why. Some will seek your guidance, while others may resent you simply because your presence reminds them of the parts of themselves they have buried. This is not your burden to carry. You are not here to save everyone or to fix their shadows. You are here to live your truth, to embody your light, and to navigate the dance of life with as much integrity as you can. At times, you may feel like you are walking through fire, the fire of transformation, of shedding old skins, of burning away illusions. This fire is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to forge you into something stronger, clearer, more luminous. The rare aura does not shine because life has been easy. It shines because you have endured, because you have faced the darkness and chosen to grow. This path is one of constant death and rebirth. You will outgrow identities, relationships, and ways of being that once felt safe. This can be painful, but it is also necessary. Each shedding brings you closer to the essence of who you truly are. And with each rebirth, your aura becomes more refined, more resonant with the truth of your soul. There is a moment in every seeker's journey when the inner voice becomes so loud, so insistent, that you can no longer pretend to be who you once were. This is the voice of your soul, of the self, urging you to step into the full reality of your being, For those with a rare aura, this moment may come again and again, like waves that push you deeper into your own truth. Each wave strips away another layer of illusion, leaving you raw and unguarded, but also more authentic than before. It is not an easy process, but it is the only way to live in harmony with the depths of your sensitivity. The world around you will often try to mold you into something smaller, something easier to categorize, but the rare aura cannot be contained in the boxes that society creates. You were not made to simply follow the script that others write. You were made to listen to the silent rhythms of your own spirit, to walk paths that others may fear because they are too dark, too strange, or too unknown. This does not mean you are meant to rebel for the sake of rebellion. Rather, it means your life is guided by an inner compass, a subtle alignment with the forces that dwell beyond the surface of things. Jung spoke of the collective unconscious as a vast reservoir of archetypes, patterns, and symbols that shape the human experience. When you carry a rare aura, you are deeply connected to this collective field, often more so than you realize. This connection can manifest as sudden insights, flashes of inspiration, or moments of deep empathy when you feel the emotions of others as if they were your own. At times, this can feel overwhelming, like carrying the weight of too many worlds. But if you can learn to hold this awareness without losing yourself, it will become the source of your greatest strength. There is a mystical paradox here. The more sensitive you are, the more power you have to affect the unseen world. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is a heightened state of awareness that allows you to perceive truths that are hidden from ordinary eyes. When you enter a room, your aura shifts the energy. Sometimes without you even noticing, people might feel calmer, more seen, or even unsettled in your presence. This is because your energy field resonates with authenticity, and authenticity always challenges the false masks that people wear. You may have noticed that your life is filled with moments of uncanny resonance, times when your inner thoughts seem to align perfectly with outer events, as though the universe were speaking directly to you. These synchronicities are not accidents. They are the language of the self, guiding you toward the path of individuation. When you pay attention to these signs, you begin to live in a state of dialogue with the universe, where everything becomes meaningful, even the smallest details. There is also a calling, a subtle but persistent invitation for those who carry such rare energy to work with the unconscious, to engage with their dreams, their fantasies, and their symbols. The dream world is not a random echo of daily life, but a rich tapestry of messages from the deepest parts of the psyche. Your dreams may be vivid, sometimes strange or unsettling, but they are always meaningful. In them, you will find clues to your own transformation. For the unconscious speaks in the language of images, metaphors, and archetypes. Consider the times you have felt an inexplicable pull towards something, a piece of art, a song, a story, or even a person. These moments are not coincidences. They are the psyche's way of pointing you towards something you need to integrate or understand. For those with rare auras, life is filled with these subtle nudges. You are not simply living on the surface. You are being guided by forces that move through both the seen and unseen realms. Yet, this journey is not without its struggles. To feel so deeply is to carry the risk of being misunderstood, judged, or even rejected. The world often celebrates the loud, the bold, the uncomplicated, while overlooking the quiet depths of those who carry rare energy. But remember, your value is not determined by the world's recognition. Your value lies in the way you illuminate the dark corners of existence, the way you hold space for truths that others cannot bear to face. When you look at your life, you may see that the most profound growth often comes from moments of suffering or loss. This is because suffering cracks the shell of the ego, exposing the soul to greater truths. Jung understood that the path to wholeness is not a straight line, but a spiral, filled with both descent and ascent. The rare aura is forged in this spiral, in the fire of transformation, where every wound becomes an opening for new light to enter. There is a certain beauty in those who have walked through darkness and emerged, not hardened, but softened, more compassionate, more alive to the struggles of others. If you have felt broken at times, know that this breaking is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a deeper kind of wholeness, one that includes all the parts of you that you once tried to hide. When you embrace your scars, your aura shines with a different kind of radiance, a radiance that does not come from perfection but from authenticity. Your journey is not about avoiding the shadows, but learning to dance with them. The shadow, as Jung described it, is everything we have repressed, denied, or feared in ourselves. For someone with a rare aura, the shadow can be particularly intense, because your sensitivity makes you acutely aware of every unresolved part of your being. But if you turn toward the shadow, instead of running from it, you will discover that it holds treasures, lost gifts, forgotten strengths, and the raw energy needed for your transformation. The more you integrate your shadow, the more your aura becomes whole. People will sense this wholeness even if they cannot name it. It feels like calm, like depth, like the presence of someone who is fully alive. And when you reach this state, you begin to move through the world differently, not as someone seeking approval or validation, but as someone who knows who they are and why they are here. You are here to embody a certain kind of light, a light that does not blind but illuminates. It is not your job to fix the world, but to live in such a way that your very presence becomes a reminder of what is possible when a soul dares to be real. This is what it means to have a rare aura, to be both fragile and unbreakable, both soft and strong, both deeply human and quietly divine. The journey is never finished. There will always be new layers to uncover, new shadows to integrate, new light to embody. But each step you take brings you closer to the truth of your own being. And in living that truth, you become a beacon for others who are still lost in the fog of forgetfulness. There comes a time when the rare aura, once misunderstood as a burden, is revealed as a quiet, enduring power. You begin to recognize that your sensitivity, which once felt like a curse, is the very force that connects you to the soul of the world. You see how every emotion, every intuition, every dream is part of a larger tapestry, a living web of meaning that binds all things together. You are not separate from life. You are woven into its mystery, a thread that both receives and reflects the light of the eternal. The more you trust this mystery, the more life begins to speak to you in subtle ways. The wind that brushes your face, the stranger's glance that feels oddly familiar, the sudden feeling of déjà vu, these are all whispers from the unconscious, reminding you that you are part of something infinitely larger. You realize that your rare aura is not only your own, but a manifestation of the collective psyche, a channel through which the world's soul speaks. To live with such awareness is both humbling and empowering. It requires you to surrender to the unknown while standing firm in your own truth. In this surrender, something profound begins to awaken. You stop fighting your sensitivity and instead allow it to guide you. You learn to distinguish between what belongs to you and what belongs to others, between the emotions that are yours to carry and those that you must let pass like clouds. You begin to see yourself not as a victim of your heightened perception, but as a steward of it. This shift transforms everything: your relationships, your work, your understanding of who you are. People with rare auras often find themselves drawn to healing in some form. This does not always mean becoming a healer in the conventional sense. Healing can take many shapes. It may appear in the art you create, in the words you speak, in the silent way you hold space for others. Simply by being present, by embodying your truth, you become a source of healing energy. Others may not know why they feel lighter in your company, but they will feel it, because your aura has the power to realign the energy around you. Yet, the path of the rare aura is not without its tests. There will be times when the weight of your perception feels unbearable, when the suffering of the world presses so heavily on your spirit that you question whether you can go on. In these moments, it is crucial to remember that you are not alone. The archetypes that dwell in the collective unconscious, the wise old man, the great mother, the hero are within you. They are the timeless patterns of strength and renewal that humanity has always drawn upon. When you feel lost, you can call upon these inner figures, not as abstract ideas, but as living presences in your psyche. The dream world becomes a sanctuary for those with rare auras. In dreams, the rigid boundaries of waking life dissolve, and you are free to explore the vast landscape of your unconscious. You may dream of descending into dark caves, of meeting strange but familiar guides, of confronting wild animals or celestial beings. These are not mere fantasies, they are encounters with the raw material of your soul. Every dream offers a clue, a mirage, a key to understanding the hidden forces that shape your waking life. By paying attention to these messages, you deepen your connection to the self, to that radiant center of being that Jung described as both the totality and the destiny of who we are. As your awareness grows, you begin to see that the rare aura is not a fixed quality, but a dynamic field, shaped by how you live and what you choose to embody. Every act of self-compassion, every moment of courage, every step you take toward integration expands your aura's light. Likewise, every time you hide from yourself, betray your own truth, or numb your feelings, the light dims. This is not a judgment, but a natural law of the psyche. The more authentic you become, the more your energy resonates with the deepest layers of reality. This authenticity is not about perfection. It is about embracing all of who you are, the light, the shadow, the wounds, the wisdom. It is about saying yes to the full spectrum of your humanity, knowing that every part of you, even the broken parts, has something to teach. The rare aura shines brightest when it is whole, when it carries not just the polished fragments of your identity, but the raw, unfiltered truth of your being. There is something revolutionary about living in this way in a world that often values appearances over substance, speed over depth, and noise over silence. Your rare aura becomes an act of defiance. It is a reminder that the soul is real, that the unseen matters, that sensitivity is not weakness but strength. When you walk into a room with this kind of presence, you don't need to say much. Your very being speaks. It says there is another way to live, a way that honors the mysteries of life, rather than trying to control or deny them. As you continue to grow, you will notice that your relationships transform. You no longer tolerate connections that drain your energy or distort your truth. Instead, you are drawn to those who see and respect your essence. You understand that true intimacy is not about perfection, but about presence, about meeting each other in the space where masks fall away, where souls recognize souls. This kind of connection is rare, but when it happens, it feels like coming home. The rare aura also has a calling toward service, though not in the conventional sense. Your service is not about sacrificing yourself or pleasing others. It is about living so authentically that your life becomes a gift to those who witness it. You serve by being fully alive, by embodying the light and shadow of your own existence, by walking the path of individuation with courage and grace. In doing so, you inspire others to do the same, not by preaching, but by example. There is a deep spiritual dimension to this journey. Whether you follow a particular faith or not, you will likely feel a connection to something greater, a divine presence, a cosmic intelligence, a mystery that defies all names. This connection may come in moments of stillness, when the world falls away and you feel yourself dissolving into a vast and loving awareness. It may come in the form of sudden insights, as though some invisible teacher is speaking through your intuition. It may come in the quiet awe you feel when you look at the stars or listen to the ocean's roar. These moments remind you that your rare aura is not just a personal trait, but part of a much larger story, the story of life itself seeking to know itself through you. And so, as we come to the end of this reflection, I invite you to see your sensitivity not as a weakness, but as a sacred path. It is the path of the soul, winding and often difficult, but filled with beauty and meaning. You are not here to be ordinary. You are here to be fully alive, to feel, to see, to dream, to love with a kind of intensity that shakes the walls of your own heart. If you ever doubt your worth, remember this. The rare aura is a sign that you are in communion with forces beyond the surface of life. You are a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, between the seen and the unseen, between what is and what could be. Your task is not to hide this light, but to let it grow, to let it illuminate not just your path, but the paths of those who are still searching in the dark. You will not always feel strong. There will be days when the weight of your perception feels like too much to carry. But even in those moments, your aura remains quietly glowing like an ember, waiting to ignite. You are never truly alone. The archetypes, the dreams, the ancestors, and the collective soul all walk with you. Every step you take into your own depths makes you a beacon for others who are lost in theirs. This is the gift and the challenge of the rare aura. It asks everything of you, but it gives back more than you can imagine. Wisdom, compassion, of clarity, and a sense of belonging to the great mystery of life. Walk this path with courage, with humility, and with love. Trust that every tear, every breakthrough, every silence, every surge of intuition is shaping you into who you were always meant to be. And when the time comes for you to look back on your life, you will see that your sensitivity was never a flaw. It was the thread that wove your story, the light that guided you through the shadows, the rare and radiant gift that made you fully, fiercely, and beautifully alive